And I said, what about, let's wait 5 seconds. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Let's wait another few seconds. She said, hang on, I'm not ready. I think
Welcome to SinCast, presented by Cinemasins.
All right, everybody, welcome to the SinCast. This is Chris Atkinson from Cinemasins, joined as always by the voice of Cinemasins, Jeremy Scott.
hello there.
Yeah. And from music video sense, Barrett Share.
Yowza. Yows.
Today we're going to be doing sort of a hodgepodge, doing sort of a normal show. I know that we teased everybody with the decade list last time, but we're recording this on Monday, and you're giving your opinions today, so we couldn't just very well come in here and just be like, all right, we made the fucking bracket, deal with it. Although I guess we could have.
We could have, but genuinely, we want to hear your opinion if we missed something that was very obvious, or if we need to consider something that maybe we dismissed or didn't think it was going to be up there. We really do want to get your feedback for this because we want to do this right. It's going to be a big project, and I'm excited about it.
So far,
let that steep.
So far, I've seen some pretty good suggestions that we didn't say.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've added some to the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be fun.
Yeah. But with that said, we will probably just go on ahead and get into our rants and stuff.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
I'm as mad as hell!
You've never seen me very upset.
You know how we do.
That's how we do.
Yeah, because we're mad. We're mad people.
That's right. I'm mad.
Angry. I'll go ahead. I know that Barrett was with me during our viewing of Rise of the Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, we were in an IMAX auditorium. Everybody was cool. Nobody was doing anything stupid. Until I'm not going to get into spoilers, so don't worry about Rise of the Skywalker spoilers or whatever. But somewhere towards the end, things started happening where people started clapping.
They were clapping, I think.
Oh, no.
Pretty much throughout the movie, but it was drowned out. It wasn't nearly as enthusiastic and stuff like that.
They were clapping at moments that make sense for you to clap at, but I still disapprove. I'll get into that in a minute. But towards the end, it was this one person. Now, ostensibly, this rant is about one person. And I hope this person is listening because fuck you. Fuck your mother. Fuck everything.
What did you do?
It's like in Goodfellas. It's like, fuck him in the ear. Fuck him in the other ear. Just was doing this
all the way through
it. Like stuff that wasn't worthy of being clapped for was getting clapped about.
Do you think this was a troll clapper?
What, can I give my theory of who it was?
Go ahead.
Right behind us, there was a couple that was dressed up. One was dressed up like Rey, a young lady that was dressed up like Rey, and one was dressed up as, I don't know, possibly Kylo Ren. He was in all black and all that stuff.
Didn't see the dude. I saw the girl.
From where the clapping was coming from, and because she's obviously a super fan, I think it was her.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to give you some context.
She needs to go fuck herself.
She probably did. She was so horned up that night that she probably did.
What are we saying when we? By the way, I don't think I've ever done this in a rant before. But what are we doing when we applaud? Right? Applause is for live shows. Applause is for the people who are up on a stage.
It's for the performers,
so that they know that you're appreciating what you're putting out there.
Yep.
What's applause in a movie theater? What do you think that is?
Masturbation.
It's masturbation, but I think it is you're drawing attention to yourself. Look at how much I appreciate this movie. I want everybody to know how much I'm enjoying this. Not anything to do with the performers. Although I'm sure if Mark Hamill just showed up, they would be like, oh, would go crazy and, run down there and try to get his autograph and hug him and all that stuff. But I think that's just for everybody else. Like, look at how big of a fan I am of this. Look at how big. Look, I want everybody to know that I understand the history of this series and I understand how big a moment that is that's on the screen.
I'm with you. But
I don't think it has anything. You can't be anything to do with what you're trying to. You're not showing your appreciation for the performers that way.
I think there are two things at work. There are clappers who are definitely saying, "Look at me, look how much of a super fan I am. That I recognize this is a big moment." And then I think there are people who have just been conditioned by American stupidity to clap when they're happy, like
when they're clappy.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think some people are just like, wee! Like, when they're that excited, claps happen. And it's because of all the live events we've taken them to and taught them to clap. But I bet those same people clap at the end of a movie they like in their own living room.
Possibly. I mean, to me, I hear what you're saying. And that clapping was very distracting.
This was obnoxious.
To me, it's like snapping at a movie or something like that, or clapping, or even laughing. In comedy, you get a laugh to show that in a live event that your jokes are landing. Mm-hmm. In a movie, people will laugh just kind of at nothing.
Well,
basically.
sure, laughing is more of an uncontrollable thing, right?
Correct.
Although
and I think
there are people who will laugh when they don't. I mean, they're just trying to show they're with it. Sometimes.
Sure. And to me, the clapping, aside from this woman who does need to get fucked. To me, the clapping is just like a demonstration of excitement for some people. And I think that's what you're saying, too, where you're conditioned to just, this is how I show my approval, by snapping or clapping or yelling woo or whatever, that kind of thing.
I can totally, by the way, and like I said, this is ostensibly this is about one person because I've never... like, I understand it when somebody is on a screen or something like this, something happens where you're like, oh my God, I can understand the applause there. I even expect the applause.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of cool sometimes, but just for any stupid fucking thing. But I really just, I mean, I don't like it in general. I think it should be something huge that happens before you do that. I think everybody goes in with a set of expectations, and I was like, all this stuff that people are clapping for, I kind of expected this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of expected this, so it's not really a big of a deal. We all knew this was going to probably happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing worth, if it was something that just came out of nowhere. Now, there was like a scene in there that I thought was pretty cool, and it definitely deserved quote unquote applause. I will say that I'm sitting there with my hands pressed together. I will not be clapping for anything in a movie ever. I think it's all ultimately about one person just being obnoxious, essentially, and just saying, I'm just going to clap for everything from this point forward.
And it was at quiet moments. All you could hear was this. And this person was like giggling and talking to her partner like, oh, they did that. And everybody was like, shut the fuck up.
Man, I would have left. I can't tolerate that shit. This is part of the reason I don't go to movies opening day is because I know that it's going to be sold out, and there's going to be at least, look, you got an auditorium with 100 people. Pretty good odds that 85 of them are motherfuckers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Motherfuckers.
Okay, so I'm exaggerating. There's a very good chance in a sold out auditorium, someone's going to do something really annoying.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that. Yeah. Now, I can blame working in a movie theater and having to preview movies like Chris, where we had to watch them because we built them, and then I got used to watching a movie by myself or with just Chris. And now, whether it's your fucking potato chip bag or your goddamn light up fucking sneakers or your check my phone under my sweater thinking that somehow blocks the light, but it doesn't. All you guys take me out of the movie, and that's why I usually wait a week or two and catch a matinee on a Tuesday when everybody's in school. Fuckers.
Yeah. Everybody.
That clap thing, I probably would have said something. I probably would have said, can you stop that? And then I would have been the asshole. It's just better I wasn't there.
I mean, probably the last 20, 25 minutes
I would
so.
say so. That's good. That's good, man. Damn. And then also decided that was the time that she would just start talking too. Like, I don't understand. Hour and 40 minutes, nothing. Nothing. And then suddenly, all right, I'm going to clap about everything. Fuck it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They can't hear your claps.
They can't.
No, they shot that scene 16 months ago.
Yeah, they sure did.
They got clapped for on set, too, I'm sure, when they wrapped. So just give it a rest.
I will say I went to a screening of Skywalker the next day, the next afternoon, and there were still a bunch of clappers in that one, too.
Yeah, but nobody did that.
Was nearly that
yeah,
bad.
I mean, like I said, I expect certain moments. I mean, I just brace myself for it. Every time I see something on the screen that's like, yeah, that's going to be applause.
Yeah.
I just kind of know, and the movie seems to generally allow that to happen. They kind of know whatever that it's going to happen, so they don't go into some plot and stuff like that, exposition during that stuff.
No, it's usually like yelling, because like the big Avengers Assemble thing, you could tell that was brewing and everything. And as soon as he says that, Thor's like, roar!
Yeah,
and then he can,
yeah. Anyway,
Fucking Thor.
Right. Go. You guys are obviously pissed about something.
I've got a mini rant.
Okay.
So we're recording this on December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas.
Festivus.
It is the Festivus for the rest of us. Happy Festivus.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do the feats of strength next, right?
As long as we got to get to the grievances.
We are. This is the grievances.
Okay. All right. Let's talk.
I got a grievance with the current crop of pop stars putting out new Christmas music now. Now, I appreciate this because for years and years and years, all we had was pop stars recycling the old things, like Bing Crosby doing something and, Mariah Carey singing something that's not All I Want for Christmas Is You. They're just singing the old hits, right? The old carols. But now they've started to write their own shit, right? Like fucking Taylor Swift did the Christmas Tree Farm song that's instantly forgettable. Katy Perry did the Cozy Little Christmas song, which is a little more earwormy, but essentially the same song. It's all jingle bells and ringing and things like this. Casey Musgraves just did a fucking like special where she had a bunch of new Christmas music. But listen to me, pop stars.
Uh-oh.
Christmas music should not always be jingling and jangling. All right? Some of the best Christmas carols, maybe the best Christmas carols, are the fucking take it down a notch ones.
Take it down.
My favorite Christmas carol ever is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That shit is ominous and brooding and stuff like that. Blue Christmas is a great classic song. That is dark and brooding and stuff like that. You could say like Oh Holy Night and like Silent Night. All these things are like, minor key and morose motherfuckers and stuff like that. If you're going to be releasing new content to stand out and to be more, iconic and stick to the ribs and stuff like that, take it down a notch, go dark, pop stars.
Well, here's what happened. Mariah Carey put out that album in the 90s. Yep. And except for All I Want for Christmas Is You, the album is jam-packed with the classics. She does Oh Holy Night on that album. It's a great album. But in the last 3 or 4 years, I've seen headlines. People are starting to talk and realize that every year Mariah Carey makes millions from that one song she recorded 30 years ago. And so today's pop stars are like, I got to get my All I Want for Christmas Is You. So that no matter how my records do, I'll make millions for the next 30 years. And so they're all trying to recapture that magic. And All I Want for Christmas Is You is a happy, jingle belly, bright, snappy. I think that's all we're talking about here.
It's just
if that Mariah Carey song had been a dour, slow Christmas song about death, that's what Katy Perry would be doing today. They're just trying to imitate exactly what Mariah Carey did.
I will say the only caveat to this is Kelly Clarkson's Underneath the Tree, because that's a legitimately brilliant song in construction and execution, and it came out probably about 10 years ago or so, and it just hits me right in the short and curlies, man. I love that song. But otherwise, just try something different, Katie. Or Taylor, like, let's go for a slow, mournful ballad about Christmas and lost love.
I do think we maybe should lump Casey Musgraves in on this one, because I think
she does the same thing, though.
I don't know. Have you watched the special?
Not the entirety of it. All I've heard, and I'm sure she does have one that's more slow and morose, but it's more like waltzy. It's not like Blue Christmas. It's not like Oh Holy Night and stuff like that.
Why you want everybody's Christmas to be sad?
Because those are the best Christmas carols.
No, they're not.
Yeah, yeah.
No, they're not.
Every Christmas movie, when it's the denouement, where the shit gets real, they're playing the sad "Have yourself a merry little Christmas." That's the good shit. That's the good shit.
The good shit is the bad shit?
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas is supposed to be happy, right?
I know, but we've got enough happy.
We do.
We've got enough for the clappy happy, the happy slap. We need some counterpoints.
Don't we just need a different happy? Like,
Okay.
instead of them just doing the same standards over and over and over again,
Yeah.
just do their own.
Yeah.
You were talking about a little that they're doing some of their own stuff, but you don't like that either?
No, their stuff. The doing their own stuff is a replication of that. All I Want for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's the same. Jing 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 jing. It's the same time signature.
Yeah.
It's the same key.
Yeah.
It's the same register, and it's annoying to me.
Christmas music.
It's not Christmas music.
No, what you've done is you've cherry-picked a handful of minor key Christmas songs that you prefer, and you're asking all of Christmas music to change and become
No,
that.
God rest you, merry gentlemen. The fucking "Oh Come All Ye Faithful."
Oh, come on, you faithful.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's not like Jingle Bells. Like, jingle, 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 jingle. No, Hark the Herald Angels Sing is not like fucking All I Want
these
for
are not
Christmas.
sad songs.
They're not sad songs, but they're not the glistening Jingle Bellies snowflake bullshit.
Okay. I think actually, weirdly, while hating you for a second, then I realized what your point is, and I understand it more.
Got to it eventually, didn't I? 16 minutes later.
I want to talk about beef.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about beef?
Actual beef?
Actual beef.
All right. I'm always up for talking about beef.
Beef about beef.
That's right.
There are not enough people in this country. I apologize, non-Americans. This is going to be a very U.S.-centric beef rant. But I'm sure your country has its own similar practices and policies, and this should still be able to inform your choices. In the United States, there are several grades of beef.
Mm-hmm.
I am shocked how many people do not know this. Someone said to me the other day, a friend of mine, let's go get a steak. Let's go to Outback.
Oh.
And I said, those are incongruent statements. And he's like, Outback has prime rib. Outback has filet. And I'm like, yes, but it's like the third lowest grade, right? It's U.S. Select.
Yeah.
Which is, the way they grade meat is based on marbling, which is fat, which speaks to flavor.
Mm-hmm.
The lower the grade, the less you pay for it. So you can go to Outback, my friend, and get the prime rib, and I can go to Ruth's Chris and get the prime rib, and we're talking about two polar opposite pieces of meat here.
Yeah, it's a weird syntactical thing because they both have prime in the title, but one is actual prime
Exactly.
and one is subprime.
So the highest grade of meat, the one you get at the high-end steak places, and you can even find usually in most grocery stores, is prime.
Mm-hmm.
Not all prime rib is prime grade beef.
Yeah.
Although most of it is.
Yeah.
They allowed the name of prime rib to sort of let them get a little bit shifty with it. So again, you go to a chain steakhouse that costs $12 for a steak, that prime rib is not prime grade beef. Choice is right below that. Select is right below that. A lot of people don't know there's like 5 other classes beyond that.
Below that?
They're fun. Let's listen to them because they're fun and frightening. So it goes prime, select, or prime, choice, select. Then standard, commercial, utility, cutter, and canner.
Wow.
Now, standard grade beef, that's the fourth one down, is most commonly used as store brand meat. So if you are like a big H.G. Hill guy, and I only shop at H.G. Hill, and I'm going to buy the H.G. Hill store
That's
brand
a regional
beef.
specific thing.
Well, it is. Yeah, okay, Kroger, whatever. Your store brand might actually be like grade standard, not even select or choice. And then, when you go to Taco Bell.
Oh, God. I don't want to hear the rest of this.
What grade do you think is in that?
I'm going to say utility.
It is exactly
You're
that.
being optimistic. Okay, good.
And the other thing that people do to get around this, because people are so confused about beef, is that you'll see 100% beef on something. And people are like, well, it's all beef. And I'm like, well, yeah, so is the dog food beef that they put in there. It's 100% beef, but it's that beef means come from cow. It does, like, what grade of beef is it? That's what matters to me. So 100% beef hot dog, fantastic. Was it utility grade beef or was it select grade beef?
Yeah.
I need to know.
Yeah.
It's important to me.
You want to know what's in your hot dog?
Well, I want to know if it's a beef hot dog. I want to know what grade of beef it is.
All right.
Like some of them these days will say this is Angus hot dog or this is like, but a lot of marketing tries to trick you up and people are just ignorant. That's why places like Outback are like selling steaks left and right.
I don't buy beef very often these days. So are there places that you go to get good stuff, or is it just the prime restaurants that you find them?
In terms of grocery stores, Whole Foods has high grade stuff. Fresh Market and even Kroger and Publix will both have some prime grade steaks and cuts. And then restaurant-wise, I have only seen prime at the high-end steakhouses, places like The Palm or Ruth's Chris or Morton's, or I'm sure that there are places in town like Cane Prime. I've never been there. There's a couple steakhouses in town I haven't been to that are probably serving really high-grade beef. But you can buy it to cook on your own at home. I'm just, I didn't know any of this before I went to work for Kroger, which was back in 2003. So prior to that, if I was having a steak, I would go to the store and I would find the cheapest sirloin I could. Sirloin because it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at all this steak I'm getting. But I didn't look at the grade. I didn't look at any of that. And so I was always having mediocre steaks.
Yeah.
And when, it costs more, but it tastes better too.
Yes, it does.
So then you look at that when you're talking about your favorite burger places and you're like, McDonald's has at least one burger that's all fresh meat now, never frozen. Sure, what's the grade of meat? Let's find that out. Tell me what that quarter pounder grade of beef is. Let's not treat all beef as equal.
It's amazing having a butcher nearby too. You actually had one right down the street before they moved, but they were super expensive. When I was in Chicago, I was right between one like super Paulina meat market, super famous meat market, where if you walk in, you're just like attacked by meat.
Nice.
It's amazing. And then one was like a little El Mercado, a little a shop over there that I would get fresh. It was prime because they used it at the Argentine steakhouse that we went to.
Yeah.
Get fresh fillets from them. And you're right. I mean, it's a complete difference from going to just your cookie cutter market and picking up a steak and then getting something cut fresh off the loin that they probably butchered themselves 2 hours ago.
When you're in a place that serves steak, they will have on the menu, I guarantee you, it will either be select or choice, and they'll write it with exclamation points like it's the highest thing ever.
Yeah.
Oh, proud to serve USDA select steaks. Like, you're proud to serve the third best quality of steaks, assholes.
So you did not go to Outback.
I did not. I'm not trying to single out Outback. The Bloomin' Onion's great. But all these Texas Roadhouse, Longhorn, all these chain steak places are all serving you select grade steaks. And it's the only way they can stay profitable. Because if they served you a prime grade steak, they would have to charge you $50 for it. And you're not going to go to Outback too much after that.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, know your meat.
How do you know, like, what is the factor that makes something select, choice, whatever?
The USDA person verifies farm by farm. They're not checking every single steak, obviously, but they'll go out and inspect. And they're mostly looking at the fat and the marbling, and even a really good fillet, a really good one will look. You know how lean those fillets can look. Like those ones we had a couple weeks ago. Those were probably choice grade, but even a prime fillet will have some marbling in it and will look a little fatty, and that cooks out and becomes flavor.
I want to recreate that entire experience of eating that steak.
I do too, because did I tell you that I've since learned I was operating the controls wrong?
How so?
When you turn those burners on, the quarter turn, that is full heat. And the more you turn to the right, the weaker the flame gets.
Oh, there's a peak point and then it goes back down.
And I was trying to get those steaks done faster, but I was turning the dial further to the right, unbeknownst to me, making the heat go down.
I see.
Now I know how to. Now I could kick those steaks out. I'm going to do it even better next time.
I don't know, man. Those were perfect.
I'm telling you, I got it down to a science. Anyway, know your meat.
Yeah.
Don't eat cheap meat.
So, we're going to go into to some recommends and warrants.
Yeah.
Totes amazeballs.
They're great.
It won the Academy Award.
Oh, for what?
For best movie ever made.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I went to the Belcourt here, the local theater in town, and I watched a movie called Waves.
Oh, this is supposed to be emotional.
It is. It's extremely emotional, and
Very emotional indeed.
Very, very emotional indeed. It is unusual in that it's basically got 2 movies inside of it. The first part of this movie, like, there's so much going on, and there's so much of a beginning, middle, and end to it that I thought the movie was almost over when it got to that point. And I was like, yeah, I mean, this movie's been really good. I mean, it feels like it's just gone by, and this is the end. I just thought that. I didn't look at my phone or anything. Just didn't know. But right after that big climax, it was like, oh, there's a whole other movie after that. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Taylor Russell, who some of you saw in Escape Room earlier this year, she was the main.
Oh, that's her?
Yeah, she was the main person in that escape room. That I guess the main character.
Yeah.
Of all, there's plenty of characters who were basically main characters, but she was the one we kind of followed. She's the innocent of the group. She's in it. A guy named Kelvin Harrison Jr. plays her brother, and it follows him from the beginning of this movie. And he is this wrestler, and it looks like he's got the best, popular high school life that there is. He's got a girlfriend who is played by Alexa Demi, who was in Euphoria.
Oh,
she was what's his name's girlfriend?
The popular, the jock guys,
the asshole guy.
Yeah.
No.
Oh wow.
The who's the asshole? I can't remember his.
I can't either.
Nate's
girlfriend.
She's a terrific actress.
She is,
and she's great in this. This is one of those things where you see something right after you've seen something where she's really good, and then this just sort of like solidifies it.
Wow, cool.
She's really good in this. So it follows them. There's some problems though. His dad, played by Sterling K. Brown. He's a hard ass, and he's like, you see them like lifting weights together, and he's very driven to make his son the best wrestler there is. And everything that he does, he's on his ass about, and everything's very obviously very tough father. But there's a problem. Tyler, his name is Tyler, this kid. He's got something going on with his arm. He's even had like an MRI that showed that the doctor is like, you shouldn't go out there anymore. You shouldn't do this. This is you're probably gonna ruin this for life if you go out there. But he doesn't tell anybody. It's one thing about the movie I didn't understand really, since he's a minor. I don't know how you just get an MRI and then the parents don't know. But he doesn't tell his parents about what the MRI shows, and he goes out there and he's like going to like some championship meet trying to fight this one dude and everything. And man, that wrestling match is so. Just like, you feel it. You feel it. Well, it's gonna. You know what's gonna happen during that match. You're just like, you just feel everything once the match starts. You're just like, oh my god. It's not like graphic or anything like that. It's just that you can feel it. You know that he's going through some shit. And his life just sort of gets turned upside down by all of this and everything. And then we have a second half. Now, the second half focuses mainly on his sister. And his sister starts to date Lucas Hedges during this. Lucas Hedges is hilarious in this.
Really?
And awesome. Yes, he's just great in this and everything. And it's basically about their relationship and about how he has a father that he didn't like, who was a terrible person or whatever, but he's dying of cancer, and there's a sort of a decision whether or not he should go visit him and all that. I don't want to say much more about it other than I highly recommend it. It's really good. I don't think very many year-end lists have this.
Yeah.
Even though it is probably upper echelon drama. I don't know why certain movies always slip through the cracks like this. Waves is really fucking good.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, highly recommended.
Nice. You want me to follow?
I can if you what is yours silly? Looks like yours is silly.
A little bit.
I'll go first then.
Okay.
I watched and I'm recommending Queen and Slim.
Oh. Yeah, I definitely want to see this.
Daniel Kaluuya. I am going to say it wrong always. Kaluuya. This dude is a sneaky great actor.
Yeah, he is.
I actually rewatched Widows in the past week. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's terrifying.
He's terrifying in that, because there's even that scene where the two guys got robbed, and then they find him like locked up in a piece of kitchen equipment, and they're rapping to each other, and they bring him into Daniel Kaluuya,
Yes.
and he says, "Let me hear the rap. Do the rap." They're like, do it or else. And then he's like getting all up in that guy's face while he's rapping, and then pow, he shoots him. And then he goes, clean that up, and walks away.
Yeah.
Anyway, he is the male star of Queen and Slim. He's playing Slim.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the actress's name who plays Queen, but I had seen her before. And I remember seeing the trailer and being very intrigued. We talked about this, I think, in our preview.
Mm-hmm.
But I had forgotten that these two are on their first date.
Yeah.
Like, I went into the movie thinking they were boyfriend and girlfriend, but they're on their first date ever, and he's driving her home, and you see the first date, a good portion of the dinner, and then it's not like there's no chemistry there, but there's friction there, too, and you don't know that there's going to be a second date, and he's driving her home, and this is when the cop pulls them over, and both of these people are black, the cop is white, and the female makes some questionable decisions during this police stop.
Okay.
She's very verbal with the cop, asking him questions, and he tells her to shut up. When he pulls Daniel Kaluuya out of the car and he's opening the trunk to go through his shoeboxes, she honks the horn and starts screaming at the cop, like, does this have to take so long? And maybe that's okay, because the movie, I think, has a lot more to say than just about police violence against black people. I don't think that's the movie's crux. And I certainly can't speak to either side of that situation. This is not the first movie that I've seen that deals with this kind of thing.
Yeah, The Hate U Give had
The
a
Hate
very
U Give
similar
would be
situation.
an
right?
excellent parallel to watch with this movie. Even Blind Spotting would make a great triple feature. But push comes to shove, cop pulls his gun, she gets out of the car, and he shoots her in the leg. So the cop's making some pretty bad decisions, too. He and Slim start wrestling. The cop comes after Slim to jump on him. Slim finds the gun, turns, shoots, cop is dead. That's all in the trailer, so I don't think I'm spoiling too much. From there, I'm recommending this movie, but it was almost a wreck of Warren, because unfortunately, it's a lot more formulaic than I was expecting.
Oh, really?
The setup and everything made me, like, I wish they would have embraced a little bit more of the fairy tale folklore element. Like, there's certainly a couple places they go, they run into black people who think they're heroes. Because
they're like Bonnie and Clyde.
This
right?
guy's dash cam, the cop's dash cam, captured the whole thing, and there are people who think they're heroes and help them out because of it. I wish they would have leaned more into that, and them becoming like, I don't know, like some kind of underground folk leaders on the run or what have you. But it's really a much more straightforward on the run from cops kind of movie. Sutton Bokeem Woodbine, he's great. And the performances are outstanding. The two leads, they keep stopping. They're on the run after killing a cop, and they keep stopping for the stupidest reasons. Like, she sees a horse, so she pulls over and goes over to pet the horse. And then he's like, he ends up basically saying, I would look good riding that horse. And he ends up trying to ride the fucking horse. And I'm like, the cops, this is broad daylight. The cops are coming. Then there's a night where they stop at this bar because he's convinced that she needs to dance. They just need to let their hair down and dance. So they're at this blues club. They find out halfway through their time at the blues club, everyone in there knows who they are.
Oh,
and the bartender even says, you guys are safe here. But then they start dancing. It is one of the sexiest fucking things I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah?
Them dancing all sweaty. They're in on-the-run clothes they borrowed from their uncle. But there's that heat there, man. There's something there, and it's sexy. Sexy.
Sign me up.
The other thing I wanted to mention is this movie is unexpectedly funny. All of the side characters are fucking hilarious. There's a white convenience store clerk who recognizes him immediately, but he's a fan. So he's like, let me hold your gun, man. And then there's a scene where they get this little fat kid to go buy him some burgers because they don't want to get seen on a camera going into a place. And then the fat kid comes running back with a phone and a video of them shooting the cop and says, is this you guys? My dad wants to meet you. And they panic. They start driving the car, but that guy's dad was right there and they hit him with the car. So then all hell breaks loose and the little fat kid's like, you hit my dad. You nearly killed my dad with the car. And the dad goes, quit being such a whiny bitch. I'm okay. And you hear the kid go, Mom told you to stop calling me a whiny bitch. I really enjoyed my time watching the movie. I wish the story had been a little more surprising and a little less formulaic. But other than that, it's a full recommend.
All right.
I was looking at a bunch of stuff through this. Jodie Turner-Smith is the actress who plays Queen in this. She's been in a series called Jet, Night Flyers, The Last Ship. She was also in The Neon Demon for a little bit, apparently. And True Blood. She was in 4 episodes of True Blood. But I was looking at the writers, Lena Waithe,
nice,
who is on Master of None, and she's in Ready Player One, everything. She's a screen. And James Frey of Million Little Pieces.
Wow, I heard that.
The story has a story by credit on this, along with Lena Waithe on this. So that's kind of an interesting pairing.
That is interesting.
But there you go.
Lena Waithe being involved with something only can make it better.
Yeah,
she's
say
fantastic.
So. Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to switch gears entirely. I'm going to do a recommend. And it's one that's on the tails of your Phantom recommend. I actually saw the Klaus movie on Netflix.
Oh, is it Klaus and not Claus?
They pronounce it Klaus.
Oh, no wonder you guys were confused.
Well, no, it's spelled Klaus.
All right.
So it looks like Klaus.
We say Santa Claus
Right.
and all that, so it makes sense.
This is basically a Santa Claus origin story. And it's really, really, really good. The story is basically Jason Schwartzman is a son of royalty and really doesn't have to do anything, but because his dad is like the postmaster general is the king of the land or whatever.
All right.
So he's in postal academy and stuff like that. And he's not having to do anything because of all the nepotism. Dad gets upset, banishes them to Siberia or whatever the equivalent of Siberia is. Super cold. People are miserable and yelling at each other, and the kids are all rotten and everything. There's a school, but nobody's going to school anymore, so it's turned into a fish market.
Nice.
Who's the teacher, the former teacher, is voiced by Rashida Jones.
Oh, nice.
This movie is charming and fantastic, and it is a big old spin on a familiar story. Everybody's heard like some sort of story about Santa Claus and where he always has been, right?
Yeah.
You never think about the origins of Santa. So Klaus is voiced by J.K. Simmons. He's fantastic in this. The animation in this is unusual, but also really, really good in this. And the story is fantastic. There's great bit characters. There's Joan Cusack plays one of the town's members and everything. Will Sasso plays the other one. Norm Macdonald lending his very unique Norm Macdonald voice to the ferryman, basically, that takes people back and forth to this remote area. And he pops up all through it. But Jason Schwartzman just carries this movie, and it's really, really good. I would totally recommend it.
That's awesome.
Especially now you're going to be listening to this after the holidays. But even so, if you're not all the way full of a holiday cheer, you should check it out.
Yeah, my wife watches Christmas movies until like March.
We've been binging on Christmas movies.
Oh, yeah.
So you just have Die Hard on repeat.
That's right. Die Hard and Die Hard 2.
Yep. Yeah.
And, well, you know, I make a tradition to watch Eyes Wide Shut every Christmas.
Oh,
because
yeah,
to me,
that's
it's
right.
a Christmas
I
movie.
bet you do.
One of these days, I'll let the kids see it.
Last night, yesterday afternoon, I said to my wife, "Are you going to watch some Christmas movies?" She said, "Yeah, I'm going to watch Santa Claus, and then I'm going to watch Christmas Vacation, and then I'm going to top it all off with You've Got Mail." And I said, "Not a Christmas movie." And she gave me a very sour face.
Is that now? You guys watched it recently. Is it a Thanksgiving movie?
No, it
No,
takes place over like
it goes
6
over a
months.
span of, however many months or whatever.
Does it end on Christmas?
But some people call it, no, it
No.
goes past Christmas.
It ends in like spring.
Yeah.
It spans over like 6 or 8 months.
It's one of those movies that, though, if people, I've seen it before where we're like, what do you consider Thanksgiving movies? And of course you got like Home for the Holidays and stuff like that. And You've Got Mail always appears because there's a Thanksgiving, like a sliver of Thanksgiving in it.
Oh, wow. I've associated it with it like that, but I haven't seen it in forever.
Yeah. So it's more of a span,
Interesting. Spanning time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's not like Love Actually, where it's actually Christmas most of the time.
That's Christmas as fuck.
Yeah. I also want to recommend My Life as a Zucchini.
I don't think I've heard of this.
End of recommendation. No, it's an animated film. It came out in 2016. It's I think it's from Switzerland. It's a French language, but like the American voices have been lent to our copies that we get and everything. So you have people like Nick Offerman and Ellen Page and all that and everything in it. It was nominated for Best Animated Feature in the 2016 Academy Awards and everything. That was actually like a really unusual year because it wasn't just Disney stuff, although Disney did win it. Because you had Zootopia win in 2016, and you also had Moana nominated. But you had these very unusual, like Kubo and the Two Strings and the Red Turtle.
The Red Turtle's so good.
Dude, that's a stacked-ass year for animation.
It really is, and Zootopia fucking won.
How does that even beat Moana?
Zootopia's good, but come on.
It ain't fucking Moana.
No, and it's not Kubo and the Two Strings and the Red Turtle, which is a fucking phenomenal movie. But this one, it's very short. It's an hour, I think. I think it's an hour, and then you add credits. But it's a sort of a stop motion claymation. I don't know if they did this digitally or whatever, but it's about a kid who is in this like sort of this horrible family life. His dad is gone for some reason you don't know quite yet. His mom is like this alcoholic, and she's sitting there yelling at a TV the whole time, and he's just in his room. He's like flying a kite outside of his one little window that he has, hanging, like tying it to a chair and letting it just like float in the breeze and everything. And then he like goes downstairs and starts collecting all these beer cans so they can go up and make a little project with it. And then she starts yelling for him, and then starts claiming that she's going to beat him and all this other stuff. She starts coming up the stairs, and he lives in like an attic or something like that. And he's got the door open. He slams the door on her before she can get in, but you hear her fall. And the next thing you know, he's talking to the police because his mom is dead.
Oh.
And so he is taken to an orphanage.
This is a horrifying cartoon.
Yeah, it's PG-13. He's taken to an orphanage where he starts getting friends and everything, but it's a tough thing at the beginning and everything. There's the one asshole guy who thinks he's the king of the orphanage and everything, and everybody else has their own little reasons for being there, and each one has like a unique reason. I think they're all the common reasons why, but each one has a different reason for being in the orphanage. And so he starts developing friendships with all these people, and then one day a new girl named Camille comes in, and he falls in love with her, and they have this budding friendship / romance type of thing. It is really good. I know that the darkness of that opening may shut some people out. It does talk about some tough subjects, but I really, really enjoyed it. It's really good. Nick Offerman plays the cop that he talks to, and it's obvious that he's the father figure as this movie goes along and everything. He even goes to visit him at the orphanage like every week or something, something like that. And there's a lot of just like, neat little like adventures that they go on and everything. And yeah, it's
unique
really
animation.
Yeah, I mean it's
well, like you said, it's like claymation.
Yeah, it's like your stop motion type of thing.
Yeah, just looking at the pictures of it, it looks very unusual, almost like a Nightmare Before Christmas type of styling.
Yeah. I don't know how I wasn't able to go in and look and see what they actually did, whether this was on a computer or whether they actually did the stop motion, but But this was something that I remember seeing trailers for it back in the day, and I was like, I want to see that, and I never got around to seeing it, but I bought it on Blu-ray, and it's been hanging around in my Blu-ray collection forever. And so I was like, I'm going to watch this. It's really short. I can get that knocked out, and it's really good. I'm not telling you to expect the world out of this, but an hour of your time, and it's very, very sweet, and
nice.
very, very good, and it tackles a couple of tough subjects. I'm all for it.
That's awesome. I don't think I had heard of this. I may have looked at it when I was looking at that category back in the day, but yeah, that's a good recommend. That's a deep cut.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right, I've got a rec-a-warn. Because of the binging of Christmas movies, I happened to watch Daddy's Home 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've all seen Daddy's Home 1. Have you seen Daddy's Home 1?
I've seen Daddy's Home 1.
You and I have.
I don't think I saw Daddy's Home. You guys send it.
Yes.
And I made, I sort of excised myself from the process.
Look, Daddy's Home is ridiculous and stupid, and Linda Cardellini is the worst wife ever, and Marky Mark has a huge dong, and it's set in New Orleans for some fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of things that I found likable about Daddy's Home. Most of it being Will Ferrell, because I like Will Ferrell as a comedian. I think he's funny. I think you can mine some comedy out of him and Mark Wahlberg. Certainly not as much as they did with the other guys, which is a classic in my opinion. But there was a few things to like in Daddy's Home. Overall, rotten. So I saw Daddy's Home 2 because my wife was binging Christmas movies. So at the end of Daddy's Home 1, John Cena appears as the biological dad to Marky Mark and his girlfriend's daughter, right? And so he turns up to be the asshole that Marky Mark used to be, but he's all redeemed and everything because he went to the dance. So Daddy's Home 2, famously in the trailer, introduces Mel Gibson as Mark Wahlberg's father and John Lithgow as Will Ferrell's father. And, true to form, John Lithgow is all touchy-feely and happy-go-lucky and all that stuff. And Mel Gibson is this hard-ass huckster type of asshole dad, right? All that happens, okay? This movie is not good. It's not good at all, but it's charming. It's much more charming than the first one. So the idea is that they've got all these permutations of biological dads versus stepdads versus blah, 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 and then the real dads for the grandparents. And so they all decide to go off to a Christmas with everybody together in like a cabin in the woods. And Mel Gibson pays for it because he's a millionaire. And then they start hitting the beats and all that stuff. And then, of course, you have a protagonist fight before the end of the movie, cliche. But then the end of the movie is really, really charming. They all get stuck in a movie theater. And so they decide to go see a Liam Neeson movie where he's kicking ass a bunch of terrorists in the cold.
Nice.
So it's essentially Cold Pursuit.
Yeah.
And he actually voices himself in the movie, like as they're watching it.
So it's a fake movie that
It's a fake movie that is essentially Cold Pursuit, except it's terrorists instead of drug dealers.
Okay.
And then a nice family friendly ending happens and everybody makes up and everything. I found myself smiling at the end of this movie. It's not good, but if you're forced to watch that or Caligula, you should watch Daddy's Home 2.
And that is a choice that comes up often, right? Where
it's like a flick chart.
Right. You are in wherever they send Walter White during when he's in New Hampshire, and they send you down to the middle of the cold, and all you have is Daddy's Home 2 and Caligula and Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium.
2 copies.
2 copies.
Yeah, so it's a wreck-a-warn. I'm not made of stone like you.
I'm not made of stone either.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Yeah, you are. You would
damn
reject this movie. You would piss on the disc.
I would piss on the disc, but that doesn't prove your point.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one I was going to recommend, but you caught me off my guard because somebody on Twitter was being a douche, is an older movie I saw again 2 days ago. Sorry to come back around and put you on the spot there, but The Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, God.
Val Kilmer?
1996.
Yeah. Val Kilmer is hired by Tom Wilkinson, who has like 2 scenes, and he's a no-nonsense British businessman. I don't care about how good your record is building a bridge. If you don't build my bridge in time, I'll kill you.
That's what he is. He's a bridge builder.
Val Kilmer's a bridge guy.
Okay.
Tom Wilkinson's a money man, and they're trying to get this bridge built through a certain section of Africa so that they can, he basically says, so we can exploit Africa. And if we need to get our railway built before the French or whoever the fuck else is trying to, I'm sure everybody was trying to exploit Africa at this time.
It was definitely the fucking French. Don't flinch.
There was that whole campaign of like exploit Africa and
Exactly.
concerts and everything.
He's never been to Africa, but he's built bridges. He's never been laid on a bridge. He's built bridges in all continents except Africa. Emily Mortimer is his wife.
Ooh, young Emily Mortimer.
And she's pregnant. And their son is due in 6 months. The bridge is due in 5 months. So Val Kilmer's confident, I will be home to see the birth of my son. He's not, by the way. So he goes to Africa, and there are all these hundreds of people, workers. And there's basically his right-hand man who I guess is a local. I don't know. He's showing him around. He's like, Muslims over here. And we've got... what's the other group? Indians over here, and one group thinks the cow is sacred, and the other group eats the cow, and this is what's facing you. That not just building a bridge, but uniting all these workers. And so he's got this big task ahead of him, and then a man-eating lion shows up and starts picking people off. And so he has to kill the man-eating lion, and he does. And there's joyous celebration, and all the workers are rallied around their new leader, and then. That wasn't the lion. It's a little bit like Jaws. There's a different lion out there. There's actually 2 other lions out there, and the ghost and the darkness are what the workers name the 2 lions. Because they are man-eaters and they are unkillable, it becomes this like lore thing to where he has to hire Michael Douglas to come in. Michael Douglas is this... I swear he could be playing his character from Jewel of the Nile.
It looks like it.
And he shows up, and he's an African expert, and he's got a crew of some kind of tribe with spears with him that go everywhere hunting with him, and he's here to help them catch this man-eater. By the end of the movie, almost everyone's left. All the workers have left. Everyone's scared to death of dying, and it's just Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas trying to kill these fucking lions if it's the last thing they do. I love this movie.
Yeah?
It's not probably an A+, but it gives me A+ entertainment. I've seen it a handful of times. I hadn't seen it in a few years. And it came on the other day, and I watched that fucker from start to finish.
Really?
And greatly enjoy it. There's several very cool things they try, traps they try and set, places they try and perch themselves to shoot, and the lions just keep outsmarting them. The movie wants you to believe these lions are supernatural in some way. I don't necessarily think I believe all that, but
I'm down with that,
it's
man.
really good.
I like man versus nature stuff like The Edge and The Gray and shit like that. This is interesting because you always see it, or I've always heard it, the ghost in the darkness, but it's the ghost and the darkness, so it's 2 separate things.
Yeah, he ends up burning. The lions stalk him through these fields of wheat or grass, tall yellow grass. He ends up burning the whole fucking field down just so that they can't have that advantage anymore. It's hardcore.
Yeah,
I like it.
Stephen Hopkins directed this. He's got quite an interesting career. His first, there's a movie called Dangerous Game, which was his first one, but then A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, he did that. He did Predator 2. He did Judgment Night, which I love.
Yeah.
He did Blown Away, which isn't very good.
The Nicole Eggert one?
No, the Tommy Lee Jones, Jeff Bridges. Nicole Eggert.
I've seen that one.
I've seen it too. There's a sex scene in there.
Oh my god!
That's
the only reason I ever saw it.
The camera follows a trickle of sweat.
It does.
From the back of her neck all the way down to her ass crack.
Yeah, it's a Corey Haim, Corey Feldman love triangle with Nicole Eggert.
It's very important to know where the sweat goes.
I mean, it takes fucking forever for that.
Is there a saxophone music playing there?
There's gotta
Probably.
be.
There has to be.
He did Lost in Space.
Oh,
that's good.
Under Suspicion. The Life and Death of Peter Sellers, which is a pretty good HBO thing. He did.
Is that a documentary?
No, it's the one where Jeffrey Rush plays Peter Sellers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The Reaping, which is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. That's a Hilary Swank joint. And then after that, he's been doing a lot of TV shows and stuff. He did the movie Race back in 2016, but just got a
It's
weird
the counterpoint
career.
to Rush.
Yeah. He's got a weird career, like just like a lot of like movies you've heard of and probably don't like.
What is Under Suspicion? Is that like a Jean-Claude Van Damme?
It's Morgan
Jesus.
Freeman and
What a generic ass name.
yeah, I mean,
Under Suspicion.
yeah. He did, Under Suspicion has Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman,
Oh.
and Thomas Jane, Monica Bellucci.
I've seen this. It's all set,
Of course, you have.
and it's all set in an office where Gene Hackman, one of them's committed a crime, a murder, and the other one knows it and is the cop, and it's just them talking the whole fucking movie.
Really?
Yes, I've seen this.
Those two actors are talking?
Well, and Thomas Jane is in there too. I think there's two cops and one bad. It's boring as fuck. I
Oh,
think there's
really?
a storm going on outside, so they can't go anywhere.
So it's almost like it was somebody trying to do a Mamet movie
Yes.
of some sort.
Yes, it feels. Actually, I remember thinking it was a play that somebody had adapted into a
Well,
movie.
it looks like it has John Wainwright book Brainwash is what it's based on. So it's based on a book.
I mean, you'd think just watching Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman talk for a long time, I would think that's awesome, but
Yeah.
not good, huh?
All right, guys, it's time to talk about Mubi once again.
movie.
So as usual, good stuff on there this month. Barrett, what have you seen?
Dude, scroll through this thing and you'll see stuff from the United States, of course, but you'll see stuff from Ukraine, from Italy, from Sweden, from Hungary,
Cambodia.
from France, a lot of stuff from France. Cambodia, yeah, exactly. From China, like you'll be able to get all of this international film stuffed into you, and it's fabulous. Having said that, I watched a good old American film on this thing that just came up. I mentioned last time that I had seen The Cotton Club, Francis Ford Coppola's Cotton Club on this, which I hadn't seen in a long time. It was awesome. I also watched Francis Ford Coppola's One from the Heart.
Ooh.
This is an interesting movie. So this was 1982. And it's not mentioned, like Cotton Club, it's not really mentioned as one of his classic movies. But it's a really good movie, and it's a really fun movie. This is Terry Garr and Frederick Forrest, and they are like a couple that's together. They're having troubles and stuff like that, and they break apart, and then they fuck around. They fuck around with sexy people, too. So he fucks around with Natasha Kinski, who I just realized, by the way, is Klaus Kinski's daughter.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that before.
I had forgotten that. But yeah, he messes around with her, and Terry Garr, she goes and messes around with Raul Julia.
Ooh.
Yeah. And if you've never realized or forgot how sexy Raul Julia can be, this will put the sexiness right in front of you.
Yeah.
This movie, it's like a fantastical musical. You can compare it to La La Land. You can compare it to All That Jazz. And it's gorgeous. It's beautifully shot, very well acted, but the star is basically the soundtrack and the way that it's shot. The soundtrack I had heard long before I saw the movie. It's when I was in a big Tom Waits phase and went through all of his stuff, Foreign Affairs, Small Change, and all his stuff, Nighthawks at the Diner. And I happened upon in the record store One from the Heart. And I was like, what the fuck? One from the Heart? This is a soundtrack that he did with Crystal Gale. Country singer Crystal Gale. And I was like, all right, I like Tom Waits, I'll do it. This is basically the end of his like lounge singer, carouser type of persona. And it's beautiful. I've listened to it lots of times. And so I know the music by heart. And then seeing the movie again really reawoken all those memories that I had of it. It's awesome. This is worth getting Mubi for just for this.
Awesome.
Yeah. And there's a million things out there. There's all kinds of stuff from France, which is my jam. There's a movie on there right now called White Wedding. Did you see White Wedding?
I haven't seen that yet.
This is Jean-Claude Brosseau.
It's a nice day for it.
That's right.
It also features the acting debut of Vanessa Paradis, who was Johnny Depp's lover.
His lover
for a long time.
You know that because of Taylor Swift?
She's also it's the Will Ferrell in Saturday Night Live. Okay. But she's also a very, very good actor. I was talking about Knife Plus Heart that was on Mubi not too long ago that features her as a porno director. She's a really good actress. So there's a lot of reasons to sign up for Mubi today. It's really, really good.
And what can we offer? What can we use to entice the peoples?
Here's what you do, Jeremy.
All right.
You following me?
I'm with you.
You go to Mubi.com. second. Yeah. mubi.com /Cinemasins, and you get 30 days free. 30 days free. Mubi.com /Cinemasins. 30 days free where you can just binge. You can make it inside of you. You can just drink all this cinema in.
Mm-hmm.
You will not be disappointed. Do it right now. Just do it. Mubi.com /Cinemasins.
So, questions?
Questions?
Yes, questions.
Any questions?
Yes.
Question. I got something to say. I want the truth.
I am listening.
This one's a fun one. I'm going to read the examples because I think they're interesting. The question is, what are some of your favorite songs or artists that reference movies or TV shows? This person's favorite band, 4 Years Strong, who I've never heard of, actually, will routinely name their songs after famous movies like What's in the Box, So You're Saying There's a Chance, What the Hell is a Gigawatt, that kind of thing. And it got me thinking, like, I don't think we've had a question like this before, and I like it a lot. What are some of your favorite songs or artists that reference movies or TV shows?
This was actually surprisingly not that hard to come up with, but I had never thought of it before.
Yeah.
I have three different kinds on here, but the first thing that popped into my head was Beastie Boys "Looking Down the Barrel of a Gun," which is one of the greatest songs ever. But the lyric is rapid fire Louie like Rambo got bullets. I'ma die harder like my kid Bruce Willis. And it's such a great little part of that song, which is so badass all the way through. It's also got Clockwork Orange references in it. They mention Ultraviolence, and they even mention Clockwork Orange by name. They also have a song called High Plains Drifter, which I don't know. It's on Paul's Boutique, but I don't know if it's about High Plains Drifter or if it's I've never really looked into it or whatever.
I haven't either.
But that is the name of a movie.
It's Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah, even the Beastie Boys even have "I'm Like Sam the Butcher, bringing Alice the Meat."
The
Brady Bunch reference.
They're full of everything. In Sure Shot, the opening track of Ill Communication, they're like, I got more action than my man John Woo, and I got mad hits like I was Rod Carew.
Well, I was about to say they had the more hits thing. They did the Rod Carew thing, but in Paul's Boutique, they say they had more hits than Sadahara O.
Oh, nice. Wow.
That's a deep cut.
No shit, man. I even know who that is.
Yeah. But then there was some other stuff, like, speaking of Clint Eastwood, Gorillaz has a song called Clint Eastwood, which I don't think has anything to do with Clint Eastwood.
Absolutely nothing.
And also takes 6.5 minutes to end.
Yeah.
You listen to the whole song, and then there's 6.5 minutes of
It's coming on, it's coming on, it's coming on.
Yeah.
Interestingly, they also have a song called Dirty Harry on the next album.
All right.
Demon Days. God damn, they're both excellent.
And then the other kind, this is a band that I know that you guys did not listen to, but industrial band called Ministry.
I like Ministry.
You do?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They started to suck around Filth Pig era.
Late 90s?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But everything before that is pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
I think, anyway, especially if you like that kind of music. But Ministry would always put in samples from movies. So the song Thieves has a whole bunch of Full Metal Jacket in it, like get up, get on your feet and all that.
I've heard this.
Yeah. And it's funny, Full Metal Jacket's been used in another very famous song.
What it's obvious. What is it?
Two Live Crew.
That's right. Me So Horny. Yeah,
Me So Horny.
That's right.
In both instances, I heard the songs before I saw the movie. And so, like, watching the movie and then finally hearing the actual where those things come from, there's something very emotionally satisfying about it.
It is.
Like, because I've sort of, like, stayed away from, like, figuring out what they are, just because if I ever see the movie that it's referencing, it becomes like this whole new, like, experience with it. They also did it in a song called Psalm 69, where there's all this like sound, and then you hear this "stop it" at the end, and that "stop it" comes from Suspiria.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because it's the blind guy who stands up and stop it, So there's 3 different kinds of little movie reference type of things there.
I'm glad you mentioned that Me So Horny thing, because growing up, we obviously heard that song before, or at least I did, before I saw Full Metal Jacket.
For sure. I didn't see Full Metal Jacket until I was probably 18.
The funny thing is that they could have had somebody in the background just doing that, doing that line.
Yeah.
But they sampled the actual movie.
Yeah.
And so when you do watch it, it's such a weird transition. That is the first scene after boot camp.
Mm-hmm.
You go through that emotional turmoil at boot camp. The next scene is them sitting outside of that cafe smoking cigarettes. And she's like, "Me so horny." She's just rubbing herself and all that stuff. He's like, "How much? Like, what do you do?" That kind of thing. And then he snatched their camera or whatever, and the guy gets on the motorcycle and just flips him the bird. Such a great scene.
Me love you long time.
Yeah, me love you long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What you got?
Hi. Oh, I'm shamed by Chris's research efforts. I put in my notes, I can only come up with examples of I hate, like the Five for Fighting song Superman, or the Breakfast at Tiffany's song by Deep Blue Something. And I don't like any of those. But then I thought of Pure Energy by the Information Society when I was in middle school, which would have been early, mid-'80s.
Pure Energy.
And it was a very electronic kind of rock with lots of samples. McCoy and Nimoy are both McCoy and Nimoy, that's a character and actor. McCoy and Spock are both quoted from the classic Star Trek episodes. They're both sampled in that song. And my 2 friends and I would sit in the back of the bus and listen to that song all the way to school, over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
What did Information Society do?
I want to know.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
What you're thinking.
Yes.
Interesting. You don't like that Deep Blue Something song?
No.
I mean, it's as maudlin, like, white man mid-'90s rock as you can get. Late 90s rock, I guess.
I hate the cadence and the way that sentences are broken in half. And I said, what about, let's wait 5 seconds. Breakfast at Tiffany's. Let's wait another few seconds. She said, hang on, I'm not ready. I think remember that film? It's annoying.
So no, forced me to rethink that whole thing.
I don't like that song.
What was the other one you hated?
Oh, the Superman Five for Fighting.
Is it about Superman?
I don't know.
No,
Boy in a cape.
This.
I'm trying to remember that song.
Well, I was for some reason I was thinking of Kryptonite by.
Matchbox.
No,
3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down. Yeah.
Interchange those.
The Superman song though, I'm not placing. I'm not placing it for some reason.
It's interesting because the Flaming Lips have a great song called "Waiting for Superman" on the Soft Bulletin album. And you had that.
Yeah,
album.
That's a good song.
That's the pinnacle of the album, and that's a terrific 5-star album. And it's such a great sentiment too, because.
You know this song.
Yeah, I know the song.
Oh, Superman. Yeah. I know that song.
I'm not that naive.
Yeah.
It's Not Easy is it's the parenthetical title of the song.
5 for Fighting.
Anyway. I'm not that naive.
Well, one thing in a song, a clip from a movie that I had no context to was Guns N' Roses' Civil War.
Yeah.
This opened up Use Your Illusion 2. Were you a Guns N' Roses fan back in the day?
My brother was. I only knew the songs that were on the radio.
Guns N' Roses, that release of Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 was like one of the most anticipated moments of my life. Because I had been just absolutely wearing out. I had already gone through 2 cassettes of Appetite for Destruction.
It had been about 4 years.
It was 1987 to 1991.
Yeah,
and a guy in my Boy Scout troop got him, and I couldn't get him because of parental advisory.
Yeah.
You know? You can't just go to Sam Goody and fucking like pick up a couple of like these pornographic audio cassettes. And so the guy Matt Sloan got these tapes. And I was like, oh, holy shit. And he's like, Use Your Illusion 1 is fine, but you've heard the hits from there. It's fine. Start with Use Your Illusion 2. And so I started with Use Your Illusion 2. It opens up with Civil War. And what it opens up with is, what we have here is failure to communicate, and which is from Cool Hand Luke. I didn't see Cool Hand Luke until I was in my 30s. Yeah. So I knew this whole speech, and I didn't even, I think I had somehow associated it over the years, but I hadn't seen it in context. So when you get to the part in the movie, which is way into the movie, it's almost maybe the last third or so, when they get Luke back, I think the second time he's escaped, and he just throws him down that ditch, and he makes that speech. That speech is fucking important, man.
Yeah.
But it really has nothing to do with Guns N' Roses' Civil War.
Let me ask you this. Did you know that was from Cool Hand Luke before you saw Cool Hand Luke?
Yes.
Okay.
Eventually, I associated those two, but I hadn't seen the movie.
I'm not sure if I did, but once I watched Cool Hand Luke, which is probably about the same time you did, because I was in my 30s the first time I watched Cool Hand Luke. But as soon as I heard dude talk, I was like, oh, this is that. This has got to be that same guy.
Yeah.
You know, it may not be the same movie, but it's the same guy who did this, you know.
And it's so weird. It's so weird out of context. And that song is so ostentatious and over the top and stupid. I love it.
Yeah.
But it's like, it ends with, what's so civil about war anyway?
You know, the Beatles did that song about that
The Yellow Submarine?
Noah Hawley movie, Lucy in the Sky.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wow, they're from the future.
They are.
By the way, watched...
it's a bad trip. I'm having a bad trip.
I watched Cool Hand Luke the other day with the entire family, including the boy.
Wow.
Really?
And he loved it.
Did he want to try and eat a bunch of eggs?
Well, we started on that scene, actually, so we didn't watch the entirety. I just kind of filled them in. But he was like, what is he doing? I'm like, well, he's eating 50 eggs within an hour, I think is what it was. And he was like, he's not going to do it, right? And from then on, he was transfixed.
Did you allow him to watch the car washing scene?
Actually, I think that's before the egg scene.
Okay.
So, because I was waiting for it because they're out like sweating and all that stuff. And I was like, I think it's coming up.
I mean, it's not... Because it doesn't have anything.
I would be fine with him.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's just sexy.
It's just like, damn. You're like, you'd be the same way if you were in prison and having to work and that suddenly starts happening.
Shaking the bush, boss. What's so sexy about that scene is that she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she loves it. She probably goes back in and jerks off like immediately. She's like a bunch of sweaty dudes fucking lusting after me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that the sound it makes?
That's the exact sound it makes. Anytime you hear that sound, a woman is masturbating.
Sounded like a helicopter.
An angel gets their wings.
I'm giving out wings.
Anyway, the other one, and I've been trying to wrap my head around this for a long time now, is Prince's soundtrack to Batman, the 1989 one. I also wore this cassette out.
All hail a new king in town.
What's funny is that besides Party Man and Bat Dance, there's really no other singles on this. Like, there's just, it's just kind of like vibey, disco-y, funky groove tracks, you know? But it's so tied with that movie.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to me, A, that Prince would agree to, I don't know if he had a fascination with Batman or if he was tight with fucking Tim Burton, or like how this collaboration came about. I know it had to do with Warner's because Warner's owned his music for at that period of time. But he went all fucking in. Like the Bat Dance music video is all like him, half side as Joker, half side as Batman and all that stuff. And it's so perplexing. Like, they actually sample lines from the film in the soundtrack. They have, like, where Vicky Vale introduced herself. He's like, he samples it, and she's like, Vicky Vale, Vicky Vale, Vicky Vale.
Isn't it even like, who's that?
Yeah, stop the press.
Yeah, stop the press,
yeah.
and then where does he get those wonderful toys? It's just such a weird thing. I love Party Man. I actually really like Bat Dance, but it's not a very good Prince album, and Prince usually is good stuff. So that was weird, man. I was obsessed with that movie growing up. I know every single little beat of it. Got that again recently. It's just like a big warm hug.
What do you think about it in Shaun of the Dead, where they decide to use that record specifically to?
I think I would too. So that questioner was from Minnesota.
Minnesota? All right.
Greetings from sunny England. Long-time listener and viewer to the podcast and YouTube videos.
No longer.
I think it's beautiful. Let's see. Just wondering, in your opinions, who do you think has the most perfect career in movies, be they actor or director or actress? Most perfect is in quotes. Essentially, who's batting near or at 1,000? I like this question a lot.
I do too.
Makes you think.
I had to stretch because there's really only a couple of answers you can, like, if you took this to the letter, there's really only a couple of answers you can give.
Mm-hmm.
But
what you got?
Well, I think Christopher Nolan as a director.
Ooh.
I think if you ask people what Nolan's weakest film was, most people would probably say Dark Knight Rises. I would. Maybe some would say Insomnia, which is a movie that I didn't used to love as much as I do now, but it has grown on me as I've watched it more. But he doesn't have any like glaring misstep where you're like, oh, Nolan directed that Addams Family 2 movie or whatever.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you know, because I definitely would put Dark Knight Rises at the bottom of his career. Do you know if he had similar studio interferences like Raimi did with Spider-Man 3 or Fincher with the Alien
I don't think
thing?
he had any studio interference. I think his co-star died.
Do you think he made the movie that he wanted to make?
No, because I think he wanted to bring back Joker after 8 years of Batman being Batman and have them square off one more time, and Heath Ledger died. And so I think he had to scramble story-wise. And
is that a story that you've heard before, or is this just a theory? Like, I'm wondering if that's actually...
I have never heard him say that. It seems obvious because Joker is hinted at. If you take Batman Begins as a year one kind of a thing, he gets the Joker card at the end of that. This is Gary Oldman saying, hey, you can't dress up like a bat and go crazy without expecting the criminals to start doing some of that shit. The second movie is their showdown. Batman wins.
Yeah.
And then Batman retires. It just makes logical sense that Heath and the Joker would have come back for that third film. And that, I don't know, it just makes perfect sense to me. And I can't explain why that film has so many other missteps when Nolan's career is so unblemished in my eyes.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this, if that is a 100% true reason why that movie the way it is, there is some studio interference there.
Well, sure.
Because the interference would be you have to come out with the movie.
Yeah, why did he continue to make the movie, I guess?
He probably had a 3-picture deal.
I see. Yeah, there's just so many missteps in that movie. Yeah. I want to love it. I think you've gotten to the point where you kind of love it.
I enjoy it. I wince at a few areas, but I enjoy it. There's a lot to like there. It's just there's a lot to shrug at as well. And but yeah, that's probably his weakest movie. And I don't think he's batting 1,000, but he's batting 900.
You saw that following movie, right?
Yeah.
And you liked it a lot, right?
Oh, I liked it. I mean, it's nothing like anything that you're going to know and appreciate Nolan for.
I see. Memento was his announcement, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so you got a Memento, Insomnia, both really, really good. Batman Begins, excellent. Prestige, first class. Dark Knight, first class. Inception, first class. Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar. Yeah, you're right, man.
Dunkirk.
And Dunkirk. Yeah, did I say Dunkirk?
You didn't, but...
No, Dunkirk.
But yeah, and then actor-wise, I thought, again, there's no actor who has a perfect track record in terms of the film quality. But I put Denzel because I love Denzel, but also even a bad movie with Denzel, I still enjoy Denzel.
What's the worst Denzel movie off the top of your head?
Somebody who's going to say something like this. I don't like the one he does with the Caribbean accent as much as some others.
No, it's that one. We actually mentioned it, and we mentioned it recently.
There's two that are similar. Deja Vu's pretty bad, but I fucking love it.
Is Deja Vu the one on the Mississippi River?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe that Kenneth Branagh Shakespeare one he did.
Oh, Much Ado About Nothing.
He was good in that.
The Mighty Quinn is the one that I think of whenever someone says his Jamaican accent or whatever.
Yes.
Although a lot of people like that movie, and I think the last time we mentioned it, you said you liked it, but I don't know if that's true or not.
No, I think I like that movie.
But then there's like Mississippi Mazzala
Yeah.
and what else is in here?
How many credits does he have?
56.
Not anywhere near as many as you'd think.
Yeah. You guys been around for a long time.
He's choosier than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he still does Equalizer too.
Pelican Brief, I don't really like very much.
Pelican Brief.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But he's good in it.
Yeah.
He's just he's super dependable. Always good, always a good performance.
No, you're right.
Equalizer 2 can suck my ball sack, but he's fine in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just imagining a movie sucking your balls.
Of all the movies to suck my ball sack, it's that one.
Yeah. But yeah, I can totally go. I don't know what the other movie is that he might have the Jamaican accent in.
I'll find the one I'm thinking of, and I don't think he has an accent. I think it's just on an island.
Okay. I went up with Alfonso Cuarón on this, and I still haven't seen everything that he's done either. There's one movie of shame on his list that I haven't seen, and that's oh wait a minute, I've seen everything. I think I'm thinking of somebody else. So I think I've seen everything that he's done except for maybe some early Spanish language films that he did. I even saw the one that's from '91 here, the Solo con tu pareja. I've seen that one.
That was on Mubi, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on Mubi.
Yeah.
A Little Princess is great.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm not big Great Expectations fan, but maybe I'll watch it again someday. Y Tu Mama Tambien is great.
A great movie.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is one of the better Harry Potters. He did a short in the Paris Jatam anthology movie that came out in 2006.
Did you see that movie?
I did, because Coen Brothers did one in there, and who else was in that?
There's a million directors that were like really, really good. Is it good?
I don't remember it being good. And I don't even know which one he did, but 7.3 on the IMDb. There, I think I remember there being good things, good stories, but like every anthology stuff, there's like some that are like, I could do without that one. Mm-hmm. But then there's others that are great.
I'm thinking of Out of Time. Which is,
Out of Time, yeah.
The similarities are it's Florida, not an island, and he's a police chief who also has to keep himself from being arrested for murder. Like I feel like Mighty Quinn has some parallel stuff there where he's like the police chief of the island, but he's also under suspicion of something.
Under suspicion.
Well,
under suspicion.
He is. He kind of is in the Mighty Quinn. More it's they don't want him looking into what's going on than really him and being in trouble for anything. He's got a cousin who's played by Robert Townsend. Who is under suspicion.
That's right. I also, when I was doing that, I just found the worst Denzel movie, and it's The Preacher's Wife.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that was like what?
Didn't
late
Courtney
90s?
B. Vance and Whitney Houston in that?
Whitney Houston was definitely in that. I only saw it once.
Right around 2000?
Well, it's
it's
90, a remake.
96.
96?
I think it's a remake of a Capra film?
I never saw
It's
that.
a remake of another film.
Yeah, Courtney B. Vance is in it as well. Gregory Hines is in it.
Oh, wow.
But I remember seeing this because this came out around Christmas. Penny Marshall directed it.
Oh. Preacher's Wife.
Yeah.
She's under suspicion.
Yeah, she's under suspicion. She's Whitney Houston. She's always under suspicion.
Is there any misstep on Cuarón's
so
list?
yeah, we got Denzel Washington sidetracked there.
Sorry about
So
that.
no, that's not anything that I'm blaming you for. Alfonso Cuarón then did Children of Men, which of course we all love. Let's see, a movie called, I don't know what they call it, The Possibility of Hope, but it still says Children of Men on the post. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, I sure am
Gravity.
glad they didn't call that movie The Possibility of Hope.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. And it would have featured somebody named Hope in it. That's how that movie would have been.
Key. Her name would have been Hope instead of Key.
Yeah. Gravity and then Roma. So his filmography is a little bit more like sparse than you'd think too. Like it seems like he's been around forever, but like almost everything he comes out with is slam bang good.
Yeah.
He's got a movie called Ascension coming out. That's his next one. Everything is being kept under wraps about that.
Oh.
I'm excited.
By the way, it was funny. The other day I saw a preview for some TV show that's coming out. And the first shot of it that came up, I was like, wait, is this Annihilation? I don't know. I can't figure out if this is, it seems like it might be Annihilation, but I was like, nah, probably not. And then it goes through and blah, blah, blah. And then it says, from the director of Ex Machina and Annihilation. And it's
Is that the Amazon show?
It's some show that's coming out that he's behind.
Wow.
And I was like, damn, I nailed that shit. That was just more about me being awesome than it is Alex Garland. For actor, I picked Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I thought about Matt Damon there for a bit because
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like Matt Damon always seems to hit every big movie he hits with, but then that's not true because there's like downsizing and there's a lot of movies on there. You're like all the pretty horses and
He's not the problem with any of those movies,
no,
but they're bad movies.
Yeah. Cruise obviously has some bad on his resume, and he's probably had more misses in the past 10 years than he's had hits, Mission Impossible notwithstanding. But the guy's career is unbelievable. Like almost everything that he was in was a famous movie, was probably a decent movie too. Like there's not very many bad ones in there. There's some that are like, I don't care for that very much, but not very many that you're like, oh, that's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
No, the only thing that springs to mind that I think I would immediately go, that's not good, was that rock and roll musical thing.
Oh yeah, that is a piece of shit. That's Rock of Ages.
Yeah, I hated that.
An Interview with a Vampire would be on there, but that's, again, he's not really the problem.
He's got 49 credits. He started off with Endless Love, then he was in Taps, The Outsiders, Losing It, Risky Business, All the Right Moves, Legend, Top Gun, Color of Money, Cocktail, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, Days of Thunder, Far and Away, A Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with a Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, Eyes Wide Shut, Magnolia, Mission Impossible 2, Vanilla Sky, Minority Report. He's got that cameo in Austin Powers Goldmember. Last Samurai, that's one that's like a big aim, but it's not the greatest, but it's still not a piece of shit. Collateral, he's great in. War of the Worlds got some good moments, but not great.
Not when he's throwing a baseball.
Yeah, exactly. Mission Impossible 3, Lions for Lambs, which I never saw, and I heard was not very good.
Oh man, no.
That's an American political thriller, right?
Yeah, is it Meryl Streep?
Meryl Streep,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Robert Redford.
His scenes are almost all with Meryl Streep.
He's like a senator or something, right?
And he's shady, and he's trying to convince her of something, and it's boring. But
I heard
again,
it was
I don't think
boring,
he's the problem.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Valkyrie's great. Night and Day, which is getting some late cult hit love.
Thanks to Barrett.
Yep.
Yeah. Mission Impossible Ghost
All
Protocol. We mentioned Rock of Ages. Jack Reacher's better than I thought it was the first time I saw it. Oblivion is a decent movie. Edge of Tomorrow's outstanding. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation is great. Jack Reacher Never Go Back. I never saw that. I heard it was not good.
Yeah.
I thought it was Never Reach Back. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. The Mummy was not good.
No, that's actually the piece of shit. I would
Yeah.
watch Rock of Ages again before I would watch The Mummy.
Yeah, Rock of Ages and The Mummy are both pieces of shit.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no doubt about that. I never saw. Did you see American Made?
Yes.
How was that?
I saw it twice. The first time I was underwhelmed. The second time I liked it slightly more. Because I think it was Dicer, actually, that reminded me it was our boy, the director man, Edge of Tomorrow.
Doug Liman?
Doug
Liman directed that movie, whereas the first time I watched it, I was like, so Nicolas Cage has a movie about running guns, Jonah Hill has a movie about running guns, now Tom Cruise has a movie about running guns.
Yeah.
But when I went back and watched it, because Donald Gleason's in it,
Yeah.
and it holds up better the second time, but it's not great. It's not essential. But
Cruise's next few movies, by the way, are all like there's 5 sort of like IMDb's upcoming projects. Who knows if they'll ever be made? But Top Gun Maverick, we've seen the trailer for that. That's coming out next year.
Have you seen the behind the scenes footage, like how they're getting the shots and all that stuff?
no, but I want to talk about this trailer a little bit, if you don't mind.
I do too.
We got plenty of time to do that.
It
I really do.
looks gorgeous. Like, just the look, just the cinematography of the planes flying through the canyons. And I think, again, this is Joseph Kosinski. You just said Oblivion, but he directed that. He did Tron Legacy, and he did Only the Brave, which is a movie I keep going back to over and over again. And all 3 of those movies look stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Top Gun 2 even while the story may suck, I think it's going to be visually stunning, and that's exciting.
I think it's going to be it seems like it's going to be very much Mission Impossible-y. The behind-the-scenes footage, it's about 5 minutes or so. It was posted to their account and retweeted through Rotten Tomatoes, where they show all the different cameras, very much like the helicopter scene in Fallout, where they show all the cameras. They are pulling 6 Gs, and it's showing the difference. Like, it's him taking off from the carrier and all that stuff, and you see like the pressure on his face and stuff like that. And he put the whole cast through this too. And so part of it is like Miles Teller and like some of the other ones, like, you know, Tom said we have to do it. And they're not blaming him. They're like, we're glad we did it, but man. And you see like a few of them said, I puked my guts out the first time that I did it.
I've already seen criticism of that move in the trailer, where he stopped short on the other guys, but that's a real maneuver.
Yeah.
That's apparently really difficult to pull off. They call it a Cobra maneuver, where you lift your jet and you basically slam up against wind and stop, and everybody goes right by you, and then you lower your nose again, and you're right back.
Yeah. I think that much like Fallout and stuff like that, like the behind the scenes stuff only will enhance this. I now want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I could give a shit about it because I was never a huge Top Gun fan back in the day.
If it was just like going through all the hits and Kelly McGillis shows up and there's like this, like Crash and Burn, Hum Ave, and all that bullshit, then it would, but it doesn't look like that.
No, and that's what people are saying, like, oh, it's a whole retread because Goose's son has a mustache and stuff like that.
I said that. Yeah.
Did you really?
I did. That mustache is awful. Go ahead.
Well, it's not a retread, is my point.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look like a retread. Yeah.
It looks like it could be, and maybe not. But I'm trusting, because Tom Cruise is not known for going back and sequelitising.
Right.
Other than Mission Impossible, he doesn't have a franchise he's gone back to and just cashed in on. And he could have easily. He could have made Top Gun 2 in 1996 and made $20 million for it.
Could make Rain Man 2.
So I have to believe he's got, like you're adding him to this list of having Rain Man 2, I got that. Of having a good batting average, because he has a great batting average. He's got a really good picker. He picks projects very well, and I think he wouldn't have done this if there wasn't some good reason.
So. But he's got 2 Mission Impossibles in the pipeline apparently, and he's got Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
Oh, nice.
That's interesting.
And then a movie called Luna Park, which has also got Doug Liman attached to it.
Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat.
After you just got done saying he doesn't sequel,
not a great sequel title. And the studio will still end up calling it Under Suspicion.
Yeah, exactly. I hope they just call it Edge of Tomorrow too.
Beyond Tomorrow.
Yeah, Beyond Tomorrow.
Over the Edge. The next day.
The Event Horizon.
You should totally watch that behind the scenes footage though. It's very much like that helicopter thing. It gets me jazzed.
I want to see it. Yeah,
to see it. What were we talking about again?
Perfect careers.
Yeah, you were going to name some maybe?
It's funny. I've got people may that are familiar with the podcast may expect me to say Stanley Kubrick, and I could say Stanley Kubrick. I believe he does have just the pristine record, starting from Spartacus on. But the name that originally popped in my head with directors was Amy Heckerling, because I remembered thinking, her first feature was Fast Times at Ridgemont High and went all the way until Clueless. And I figure she's got some good things thrown in there. I can't do it because it's a crazy thing. So she starts with Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. Her next movie, which I fucking love, is Johnny Dangerously.
Yeah, this is another underrated, underseen movie.
I mean, the kids these days don't realize how fucking amazing Michael Keaton was in his prime. His comedic timing was perfect, and this movie is so fucking good.
Yeah.
National Lampoon's European Vacation, I think, is a funny thing. I know I've got more of an affinity to National Lampoons than a lot of people, but I think it's funny. Look Who's Talking was a funny movie. Look Who's Talking 2 was not. So that would be the turd in the punch bowl here. And then Clueless. And I was like, wow, it's a pretty good stretch right there. And then she hits fucking the Jason Biggs 2000 movie Loser with Mina Kunis with Suvari.
Yeah.
Yes, where she's eating
Mina Kunis.
Mina Kunis.
she's eating like ketchup packets and stuff like that. That thing sucks. But she did direct an episode of The Office, and now she's basically gone into TV. She did a few Gossip Girl episodes. But so she's had a very good career, very interesting career, and I wanted to shout that out because I actually didn't remember that she did Johnny Dangerously.
She was 28 when she did Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
That's crazy young.
Yeah.
That's crazy young.
It
How did
really
that movie
is.
get made? Because even Cameron Crowe was like 22 or something at the time.
And Crow famously went into high schools to like do undercover work. So he posed as a student to write his book and everything, and then he wrote the screenplay. But yeah, that movie's got a lot of interesting stories behind it, man. Just the scene with Jennifer Jason Leigh and Damone in the pool house or whatever was supposed to have male frontal nudity in it too, to be equal, and they canned it. They canned it because people don't like seeing dongs flashing around. They love seeing dongs now. Yeah, dongs are everywhere.
Dongs are fucking everywhere.
But back then in 1982, you could only have the female nudity, and I remember watching the director's commentary on this movie, and that scene comes up, and Amy Heckerling goes, "Look at that." Jennifer Jason Leigh is just completely naked. She's like, oh my God, like what? I can't even believe this is in here right now. And then I think they talk a little bit about the Damone nudity too. They had to cut it out, but the Phoebe Cates scene that everybody knows Fast Times at Ridgemont High for, she apparently Phoebe Cates kind of went to her and said, "I'm kind of worried about this scene and all that, and I don't know if I want to do it and all that." And Amy Heckerling was like, "Look, I want to be a working director. The studio wants this type of thing in it.
Wow.
I have to do this scene. You have to do this scene."
Wow. Practical realities of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it was the 80s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've progressed at least in some things.
But you know what? I've seen different accounts from Phoebe Cates about that scene, like all sorts of like ones where like, oh, she was just raring to go to do this scene, and then others where it said that she was kind of having some second thoughts about it.
Yeah, and I can imagine there's a lot of emotions tied up in that stuff.
Oh,
I've never done a nude scene myself.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I've done it in front of the mirror, imagining myself taking off my bikini top.
Sure.
I stand in front of the mirror and massage myself and say, "You're a star."
Yeah. And I'm a star.
Massage myself.
With the ELO song coming in.
That's right. And I have an easy answer for the most perfect acting category.
So you settled on Heckerling, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go with it.
Okay.
Because my real answer is Kubrick, but that's boring.
But no, Heckerling's good. I mean, she just hasn't done a lot of movies that you can say, well, she's done a lot of shit and a lot. She doesn't have much shit, but there's really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. The acting category is, we were actually talking, Chris and I were about this last week, John Cazale. And I don't know if you listening know his name, but this is Fredo from The Godfather. John Cazale was a theater actor for most of his life. He died early, I think about 41, 42, something like that. Mm-hmm. And he was in every movie that he was in was nominated for Best Picture.
Jesus.
So he's only in 5 features, but these are the features. The Godfather, The Conversation, Godfather Part 2, Dog Day Afternoon, and The Deer Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So you like working with Coppola?
Yes, and Pacino.
And Pacino.
And, yeah.
Famously, all of these are famous, but he played Al Pacino's lover in Dog Day Afternoon, and he's spectacular in that movie.
Is he the lover? I thought Chris Sarandon was.
No, you're right. He's just a partner because he's getting the money for a sex change operation. Is what they call it. That's correct. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. God, Chris Sarandon was in that.
Yeah.
God, I forgot that. I need to watch that movie again. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. John Cazale is fantastic. Even when he's doing the whole confession to Michael in Godfather Part 2, where he's on that Barca lounger, and he's just like, I was passed over. I'm your big brother, Mike. He's just spastic and all this stuff. And you could tell he's completely embodied that character. And he's right. He's right. I mean, he got totally. There was no mention whatsoever in any of those movies about the possibility of Fredo taking over the operation. It was just send him to fucking Vegas and get him out of our ear. It was either Sonny or it was Mike. And actually, he wanted to pass over Sonny, but he had to go in the line of succession. So anyway, I like me some Johnny Cazale.
Yeah, he was once going to be married to Meryl Streep.
Yeah, he was engaged to her, or he was dating her at least when he was doing The Deer Hunter. He died right after The Deer Hunter.
Yep.
In fact, they wanted to, from what I read, they wanted to fire him from The Deer Hunter because they knew he had cancer, they being the studio. And Meryl Streep herself lobbied to keep him in the movie.
Well, and it's interesting because I don't know if Streep had the pull that she has now, because
That was 1980?
No, it was 78 when it came out.
78, yeah, that's right.
And she was still like, I don't think she had a big movie.
No.
At that point.
No. Huh?
So
she's very convincing.
Very convincing. Yeah.
Just like an actress. There are two things that always happen in TV shows and movies that never fail to annoy me. One, a lot of action movies have at least one scene in which some guy gets chased through the kitchen of a busy Asian restaurant by some other guy making a mess of the place. Two, why are the people in movies and TV shows always ordering something in a restaurant but never stay to eat the food or even wait to get the food they ordered? This happens so often. The only character in a movie that I can think of that actually stays to enjoy his order is Walter Sobchak in The Big Lebowski. He's staying.
He's enjoying his coffee.
I'm fucking staying.
Yeah.
So what is it with Hollywood being a dick to people in the service industry and or wasting food? Happy holidays from Sweden.
Well, I can tell you why. The second one, I think, is just a practical thing where, because we've told the story before about Guys and Dolls, where he kept making what's his name have to eat the cheesecake over and over, and he knew he hated cheesecake.
Brando made Sinatra do that, right?
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think anytime you shoot with food, the concerns are the actor can only eat so much. The food might go cold. And I think it's just easier to write scripts in a way where the characters aren't eating. Because the continuity, I think, gets trickier when there's actual eating of food being done. I think. That's the second one. But I did want to point out that Bill Murray orders like 12 breakfasts in Groundhog Day, and he stays for all of those.
And doesn't Vincent and Mia eat their burgers in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah. He digs into that steak, man. And talking about steaks, are you getting a good steak at fucking Jackrabbit fucking Slim's?
I don't know. It's a fictional restaurant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. I think most of the money has gone into those car booths and get-ups for the waitresses.
It's just so weird. You expect a Durward Kirby burger to be on the menu, but not a fucking Douglas Sirk steak.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, let's go get a steak. I don't want to get a steak from fucking Jackrabbit Slim's.
That would be just like any other theme restaurant, right? Do you think Hard Rock Cafe has...
Exactly.
I've never had a steak from Hard Rock Cafe.
Well, and you shouldn't, even though they probably have one on their menu, because Hard Rock Cafe is not about the food; it's about the shit on the wall.
Have you been to the Hard Rock Cafe down here?
Once.
Yeah, I actually went once recently.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's a long, complicated story. Not really, but it doesn't need to be on this podcast. And then once, I think, when it opened somewhere around the 90s somewhere.
I went when it opened, because the remaining Eagles opened the Hard Rock Cafe.
Nice.
Don Felder and I believe Glenn Fry were doing Eagles songs. They were playing outside of the Hard Rock Cafe.
Nice.
And I was a big Eagles fan at the time.
I bet you were.
The one thing I want to say, though, about this question, this statement, is that Get Shorty makes fun of this. Martin Weir, who's Danny DeVito's character in Get Shorty, goes in and he has a meeting with John Travolta and all them, and they're at this fancy restaurant where you basically go just to be seen. And he goes in there, and the waitress comes by, and DeVito's like, could you do this and do all this special shit and everything like that?
That's not on the menu.
Not on the menu. Doesn't let them order anything. And then the server goes away, and then they talk about the movie briefly, and then he gets up and just leaves.
And then they bring his food.
Bring the food right after that. This stuff that none of them ordered at all. And it's a really funny scene.
That whole movie's funny.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch that Always Be My Maybe? With Ali Wong and Randall Park.
Yeah, I did.
And that's did you watch it?
Not yet.
That scene with Keanu, man. This is not spoiling anything, but he sits down to order and he's like, "Do you have anything that plays with the concept of time?"
yeah. And they were like, "Yes, of course, sir."
Of course, sir.
Yeah.
And he just says it deadpan. And somebody has done that before.
Yeah. And he's that point where like they're wondering whether they're going to pay for it and everything, and who's going to pay for it. And Keanu Reeves comes back like towards the end of the meal, and he's like, "I just wanted you to know that I went ahead and bought this meal with one of the paychecks I got from one of my movies called Speed."
He even calls it a blockbuster or something like that.
From one of my blockbuster movies called Speed.
That's a good point about Get Shorty. That's a movie that I don't see on any of the streaming services or like readily available on cable, but I always want to watch it. If it would come on, I would watch it religiously.
I agree.
I love that movie. My beef is with restaurants and mob movies because everybody wants to sit down, but they want to sit down in public. And where do you sit down in public? Not at a fucking park. You sit down at a restaurant. And so you're ordering the food, and then fucking gunplay starts, right? So in the Godfather, for instance. So, you know, there's this whole thing about where the meeting is going to take place with Michael Insalazzo and the dirty police chief. And so, you know, they say, well, where's it going to... It's always planned to be at a restaurant. We just don't know which restaurant it is. Now they finally select the restaurant, and it's a family place. Even Abe Vigoda says, it's a family place. I know good food, people pay attention to themselves and all that stuff. And so this restaurant's been around forever. It's a family place. There should be families there. It does a good business, good enough to where people know it from uptown and downtown. And yet Michael fucking plugs two people right in the middle of it. Nobody's going to that fucking restaurant again.
Right?
That's true. The murder lasagna.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the manicotti may be fantastic, but are you going to the murder place?
I don't think so. I often think about that coffee house Doc Ock throws a car through in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that place is probably closed.
That place is fucked.
Oh yeah.
That place is dead.
And it looked like a local joint. It didn't look like
it wasn't a Starbucks.
Jamba Juice or whatever.
Whatever kind of insurance that guy has is not going to cover that damage. That store is done.
That's true. You don't get insurance specifically for supervillains throwing cars through your
Maybe in
window.
this day and age you do, but not back then.
I love I love in Godfather that Sterling Hayden that plays the dirty cop guy, and he's in Doctor Strangelove.
Yep.
He's the Jack D. Ripper.
Yeah, and he's in the early one, The Killing, right?
The Killing. He's great in The Killing.
Yeah,
he's the main guy in The Killing.
Yeah, he's a terrific actor.
Yeah. He's a guy that we don't talk about too often, but Sterling Hayden's fucking phenomenal.
You know, it's such a weird moment in that movie. This is getting off topic, but it's such a weird moment that he runs into Michael outside of the hospital, and he's like, what are you doing here and all that stuff, and Michael doesn't even backtalk him. Basically, just says, "Why are the men outside of my father's door? Why were they removed?" And he was like, "Well, they had to go," or something like that. And he makes some remark, but it's completely innocuous, and they fucking bashes him in the face, in the jaw, with a roll of nickels. He had a roll of nickels in his hand, ready to fucking pounce.
I usually do.
And then afterwards, when they'd taken him to meet with Salazzo, he's just like, "I'm sorry for the other night, Mike. I was having a bad day," or something like that. Like, that just seems like a massive overreaction that sets, like, the whole movie is jaws broken.
Yeah.
It's always bothered me.
That's going to do it for this week. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Christmas.
Like,
It'll be out December 30th, so it won't be
Christmas.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And also, I'll just make a little note of this. This is the 4th year anniversary of us doing this podcast.
Yeah.
This first sat down December 23rd, 2015, and it has changed my life, and I mean that in all honesty.
I do too, and we've come a long way, baby.
We have come a long
and
way.
And many of you have come along with us the whole time.
Yeah. This is fun. And I think... Well, I appreciate that you guys still listen to us and still engage with us. And I hope you guys appreciate that we put a lot of work into this and a lot of effort, and to make sure that we get these episodes out at the same time every week for 4 years now.
4 years!
4 years!
Yeah. Go to SinCast presented by Cinemasins on Facebook. We also have a Cinemasins Twitter, Music Video Sins Twitter, SoundCloud, We're also on Discord. If you want to get on Discord, you can go to our Reddit page and find a link on the right side of the page. Yeah, we got Reddit too, baby.
Reddit on computers.
They have, yeah, exactly. There's a new Mexico. But you can find a link on the right side of the Reddit page for the Discord, or you can go to Facebook and private message me, and I will give you a link there. But that'll do it for this week. It's Chris Atkins and Jeremy Scott and Barrett Shear. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. Comment on our episodes on our SoundCloud page. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit. And be sure to visit Cinemasins.com.
I saw an article the other day.
Oh, this is going to be awesome.
About how Bryan Cranston and Ed Norton and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had all signed this letter urging Hollywood to hire more disabled actors.
Okay.
All three of those motherfuckers have played disabled people in the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So did they get burned after that and then decide I need to sign this letter and be a part of this movement? Or are they just hypocrites?
Who was it again? It was
Bryan Cranston, Ed Norton, and The Rock. And then there's like a dozen other names. Half of them you'd recognize, but nobody near as big a star as those. Marley Matlin.
Oh, okay.
Urging Hollywood to hire, to audition disabled people for roles and to hire them when,
That is weird. You're talking about Cranston did it in the Intouchables remake, right? And of course, Rock and Skyscraper.
And Ed Norton with his Tourette's.
Yeah.
His motherless Tourette's. I'm not mad. It's a good cause. More people need to be rallied to the cause. I just think it's weird that the three biggest names are all people that seem to have ignored that letter up until 2 years ago.
I had One Cut of the Dead on my fucking desk.
But have you watched it?
No.
Don't bring it back till you watch it.
Okay. Well, at this point, it would be a useless thing.
I gave him The Sting, and he probably had it a year, didn't ever watch it.
Motherfucker. That's a good movie, too.
Man, it's a really good movie. That's like Barrett's jam. The Sting would be your fucking jam.
Yeah, you would love that movie. What the fuck is that face? Is that your phone? Mm-hmm. Whose face is that?
Keith Morrison from NBC News. He's the guy that talks like this.
Why do you have that on your phone case?
Because he has a very unusual way of speaking, and I quote it to Jonathan and his wife all the time, and they quote it back to us, and so they got it for me for my coverage.
That's hilarious and creepy. I'm going to have to ask you to turn your phone upside down so Keith Morrison is not staring at me.
Well, the best thing is Bill Hader doing the impression on SNL.
Yeah.
When he's interviewing, he's like, the person's like, we found him all chopped up in the trunk. And he's like, oh, was he dead? Like eating popcorn and shit.
I was randomly going around to everybody's Twitter a couple of days ago just to catch up on everything. And I went to his, and he's got a picture of this thing with covering his own head. And it's, he's holding the phone up. So it looks like this dude is holding up, he's putting hands to his head or whatever. And it's really fucked up.
I watched The Talented Mr. Ripley last night.
Ooh,
for the first time in fucking years. Saw it when it came out in the theater. 99?
Yep.
Saw it when it came out in the theater. Probably caught it once
It came
since
out
then.
Christmas of 99.
God damn, that movie. That movie is as perfectly plotted as something like The Prestige.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything happens for a reason and has a normal recourse to it. And he's just so fucking good. He's just got a different affect to him. Like he's playing a character.
How Jude Law so loves Matt Damon's impression of his dad that he's like begging Gwyneth Paltrow, you got to hear this. And she's never even met the fucking guy. Like, you got to hear how much he sounds like my dad you've never heard.
And isn't that where he admits that he came in because his dad, like he does the impression and he goes,
oh yeah,
I think that you should go and meet Dickie.
Would you ever consider?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. Every part about that movie is...
Give you $1,000.
Maybe Gwyneth Paltrow's best movie.
Whose?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Maybe her best performance.
Maybe. And she's like fourth or fifth down list of things to watch in that movie.
Yeah.
Man, Damon is such a bullshitter in that movie. It's so fucking awesome to watch.
Great.
Like, the part when she finds out and everything, which is probably her best moment in the movie, but he's like, I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. I'm cold. I'm wearing a towel. Blah blah blah. Like, he's trying to make all these excuses for why he's acting weird.
Yeah, because the person fingers him.
Yeah.
The landlord says, "Yeah, Dickie's up there," and so she goes, and there he is.
That's when Philip Seymour Hoffman goes up. Or no, wait, I guess she does the same thing when a thought girl comes back.
And then he's caught red-handed, but somehow gets out of that shit by doing exactly. I don't know what's going on. I'm in a towel.
I'm cold, Margie. That was one of those weird, odd experiences watching it at the theater, because it came out Christmas Day, and it was the Christmas Eve is when I watched it. And the theater closes early on Christmas Eve. So like the 7:00 shows are the last shows. And then it was around 9:00. I popped it in. It feels so much later because that's what it usually is at that time. But that movie's long. It doesn't feel long, but it's long, and it's got an atmosphere to it. And I was just taken with it. Just like, oh my God, this is such an experience.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're on drugs sometimes, late night when you're watching this type of movies like that. These movies are dissimilar, but Lady in the Water was the same sort of experience I had, where it was just kind of, nice. Just relaxing. Just watching a movie.
It's not because they end up going to Italy, but at some point they stop at the French Riviera where I was at. And so I could see where they were in context. That's always awesome. In fact, the Tenant trailer that we saw before Skywalker, it wasn't just the Tenant trailer. It was also 10 minutes of footage or something like that.
It was like an IMAX deal, huh?
God damn. Yeah. It was fucking amazing. But then they cut to where he's in the boat, going around there. That's in the part of France that I was at.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I like seeing that stuff. That's fun.
Yeah. And just like all the other times I've seen these Nolan things before a movie, I saw Dark Knight Rises before Mission Impossible. I think I was with you on that one. There's a lot of stuff I couldn't hear. It was so loud, and so I didn't know. There's a whole bunch of. Have you seen that scene anywhere? Have you watched that Tenet first scene that's on that IMAX thing? There's a whole thing where he's going in with this crew of people, but apparently some of the people aren't on his team.
Yeah.
And so, there's a guessing game, I guess, of who's all doing what and what their motives are.
And it's all in an orchestral concert and everything, too. So, oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so it's a lot of stuff going on there where, he thinks he's doing the right thing, but somebody on his team's like, no, don't do that. And you're like, what the fuck? Are you even on my team? No.
That trailer got me rock hard.
Yeah.
I was poking out of my pants.
Well, the trailer, I didn't see the scene, but the trailer itself did that for me.
And I still have no fucking clue what it is.
I'm done. I almost don't want to see the trailer you're talking about, because that teaser was enough. You showed me there's going to be amazing visuals.
Yep.
There's going to be a really high concept going on. I don't want to know anymore. Just put it in me.
I think Nolan has really captured sound more than anything. Because hearing an IMAX too, you could hear everything that was going on. It was very percussive and stuff like that. Same thing with Dunkirk, where Children of Men did this too, where you hear the gunshots, but you hear the bullets whizzing by, and their impact is really severe and all that. God, I love that shit.
Yep, it's good shit.
That was your first IMAX.
That was my first IMAX ever.
Oh.
And in town, that is the only real IMAX.
That's the only true IMAX. There's a fake one down in Franklin, right?
Yeah, there's anything else that says it's IMAX isn't around here.
So that's an IMAX camera that only shoots or only projects IMAX stuff, right?
Yes. Now I do believe what we saw was digital. For Rise of Skywalker. So I don't think it was their true IMAX film. I don't know how much of a difference it is. They've probably done some tweaks since since the days that I don't know. They've probably done some tweaks for over the past few years, but I mean, you can see that it fills most of the screen.
Yeah. I assumed that
the true IMAX fills the entire screen.
I got you, and
so
that's film.
Yeah, and that's the film usually. Now, I don't think they have a digital projector that does that yet. They probably do in other places, but maybe not at Opry Mills. But like, that one, I could see black on the top at least. Of the screen.
Yeah.
But it was still pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it still filled most of the screen up. So they've got it set pretty good in there. But yeah.
So when Tenet comes out, it's going to be just giant film.
Should be a giant film. I can't imagine Nolan releasing that as a digital IMAX.
No, he's so huge on the actual film and shooting. That's why the Rise of the Skywalker. Blah. It didn't probably shoot with an IMAX camera on IMAX film, but Nolan does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'll be one to watch on IMAX.
I'll tell you what. IMAX is fucking dope.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah.
You can imagine it's just bigger and better and stuff like that. But man, the sound was so gorgeous and the visuals were so gorgeous.
We saw Ghost Protocol in IMAX, and he hadn't shot the whole film that way, but that whole like Dubai shit was all IMAX.
Yeah, you get to see that whole Burj Khalifa thing in IMAX, man.
Man, I was high on pot cookies that night.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I ate like 4 pot cookies and came down
clearly,
for that night.
Clearly had no idea.
Nope. It's not like I'm sticking up Granny at the supermarket.
Yeah.
God damn. All right. Now that all that's probably getting cut, let's move on to